Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم من همزه ونفخه ونفثه. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى لا سيما المصطفى صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. Dear brothers and sisters everywhere, welcome to another edition of your program Ask Huda. You deliver your valuable questions and we do our best to answer them in the light of the Quran and the sound Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. In order to do that, we have some contact information for you, beginning with area code for the phone numbers 002-0238-555, 248 or 249, and the email address is ask@huda.tv, and the Facebook account is msalahofficial. This is at the facebook.com. and MS is capital. Barakallahu fikum, and may Allah guide us to what's best. I don't know what to tell you, but it seems like Ramadan is slipping away out of our hands. We can do nothing to stop it, but we can do a lot to seize the remaining beautiful hours and moments of the days and the nights of the most blessed time, the month of Ramadan. Today is already the 24th, and tonight is known as Laylatun Fardiyah or Witriyah, which means it is an odd night. Odd in a sense that it is, in numbers, it is the 25th night. And we said before that Laylatul Qadr is predicted to be in one of these nights, the 21st, the 23rd, the 25th, the 27th, or the 29th, according to many collective and sound ahadith. Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala conceal that night and did not tell the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, for instance, it will be definitely on the 27th or the 29th? Simply because as human beings, what we will be doing is worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this night, then sleeping during the rest of the nights of Ramadan, perhaps the rest of the year. Say, if this one night and its worship is better and superior to the worship of 83 years and 4 months. This is the meaning of his statement. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Qadr, Laylatul Qadri khayrun min alfi shahr. So if this is the case, why bother and why do have to do a lot of worship and pray night prayer and taraweeh and tahajjud in the remaining nights? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala concealed it and hid it. So it is one of the last nights of Ramadan, and particularly al-layali al-fardiyah. And as we said before, that the night precedes the day. So today is the 24th. At sunset is the beginning of the 25th of Ramadan. So tonight is a very important night and a very precious night. More than any other time, the 25th and the 27th and the 29th, the 3 nights, we should not miss a moment of them. We fall into this habit and ritual of every year that beginning of the 21st of Ramadan, the night of the 21st, people would go out in the morning at Fajr and start looking at the sun, and some people will predict whether it was Laylatul Qadr last night or not. I will speak about this after these phone calls. Assalamu alaikum. Brother Arshad from Qatar. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam, Sheikh.
Naam.
How is the Ramadan going?
Ramadan, as I said, is just running away. We're trying to chase Ramadan, but Ramadan is way faster than us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to seize the remaining beautiful nights and days of Ramadan.
Inshallah. I have 2 questions.
Naam.
First question, in the last rakat of witr, when the Imam supplicates after ruku,
Naam.
I have seen many people making their own dua. So in this, can we make our own dua, or are we only supposed to say Ameen?
Well, the Imam is already making a dua. Where and how would you make your own dua if he doesn't give you a chance? He's saying, Allahumma hdina fi man hadayt. You either say Ameen or you say, oh Allah, give me a good wife. You know, you don't have time for both. So it is to say Ameen. And Ameen or Amin means, oh Allah, respond. And we should pronounce it as Ameen. But of course, since it is during the dua, in order to catch up with the Imam, we recite it with the qasr. Ameen,
Okay.
Ameen, Ameen,
Second question.
and so on. Now,
When we are buying provisions from hypermarkets or supermarkets, we receive some raffle coupons, for prizes like cars. So is it permissible to fill this coupon and drop them? And then if we win the prize, is it halal?
okay.
Okay, thank you.
That is
That
the
is
same.
right.
Okay, thank you. With regards to filling up either applications or dropping your name or the receipt which you purchase regular items or commodities that you need to buy anyway. So they say that they have some drawing and they picked somebody's name and they give him a prize. It is permissible as long as the person did not pay for this particular drawing. So if the person's intention, he doesn't need to buy food, he doesn't need to buy this supply, but he's going only in order to join the drawing, then no, this is similar to gambling. And there is a big risk even though he didn't pay directly for it. But his intention was to be eligible to enter the drawing. The best is you buy your commodities, and if they have some sort of drawing and you write your name and they give them the receipt and they randomly select you, and if there is a prize, then you are eligible to take the prize and it is lawful, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Nada from Egypt. Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام.
Naam.
وعليكم السلام.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Do you have a question, Nada?
Yes.
No.
Two questions. Are you allowed to hold a mushaf when praying behind the imam while praying tarawih?
You want to hold the mushaf as a follower, right?
Yes.
No. It will be only permitted for the reciter due to limited conditions, which is if the imam is not memorizing the entire Quran, or there is no one to remind him in case of forgetfulness. But the habit of every person carrying the Quran behind the imam, this is typical resemblance to the people of the book, Christians and Jews. So only the person who is reciting is allowed due to the circumstances if he is not memorized. Next.
My second question is it haram to take pictures or images of a human being or any living being with a camera?
If you're talking about the stencil cameras or the digital cameras,
Yeah.
there is no problem with that. But drawing those pictures and images or hanging them, whether the images, the printed images, which you shot by a digital camera or drew by a paintbrush or whatever, hanging them is absolutely forbidden. And it prevents angels from entering such house, which have pictures that hung against the wall of living creatures, humans, animals, and so on. And we have plenty of other beautiful pictures that we can hang and pictures that we can take. But as far as taking them with the digital camera or digital phone, there is no problem, provided many people belittle that. You know that with these mobile devices, it's easy via the Bluetooth to collect valuable information from one device to another, sometimes even without your knowledge. You go to fix your phone and you've taken some pictures of your family members, your wife without hijab, your sister, your daughter, and so on. It falls in the wrong hand and it's a scandal. So we have to be very careful, not because you can take them and keep them on the hard drive or in your mobile phone. That means you feel free like you are at home. Once you've taken a picture, you got to keep in mind if it is on your device, it may be as well exposed. So you have to be very careful. Assalamu alaikum. Brother Muhammad from the KSA.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. رمضان مبارك شيخ.
Barakallahu feek ya Muhammad. MashaAllah, how old are you?
11. Same color.
MashaAllah, barakallahu feek. May Allah bless you, Muhammad. MashaAllah. In which part of Saudi do you live at?
I live in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia.
Which part, which state and city in Saudi?
Al-Khubar or Dammam.
Khubar or Dammam. Did you get to do Umrah this Ramadan?
Yes, first day of Ramadan.
MashaAllah. Barakallahu feek. May Allah bless you and your family. Lucky you. Go ahead, Ya Muhammad. Do you have any questions?
Okay, I have two questions.
Nah.
The first question my mom asked me to ask you is it okay for her to pray tahajjud or salatul qiyam with the jama'ah in the masjid, and then she can pray nawafil in the house like 2 rak'ahs or 4 rak'ahs?
No. Okay, second question.
And the second question is, can you explain the parable of the dog in Surah Al-Araf, verse number 176, which says, "And had we willed, we would surely have elevated him therewith. But he clung to the earth and followed his own vain desire." So his parable is the parable of a dog. If you drive him away, he lolls his tongue
إن
out.
تحمل عليه يلهث أو تتركه يلهث. نعم.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you please clarify it?
Okay. Barakallahu feek. Thank you, Muhammad. As far as praying in the masjid for women, it is permissible. As we say, the Prophet ﷺ said, لا تمنعوا إماء الله المساجد. Do not prevent Muslim women from attending the prayer in the masajid. And this is general, whether it's a fard or nafli prayer. And in nafli prayer, even though it's recommended for everybody to pray nafli on their own, but when Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anhu revived the tradition which was initiated by the Prophet ﷺ when he gathered the community behind one imam, it encouraged everybody to stay and pray a longer prayer, because not everybody will be willing to pray for several hours at night or recite long surahs, especially if they're not memorized or amongst the laymen. So gathering them behind one reciter, one imam with a melodious voice, encourages everybody to stay up and to pray. But the Prophet ﷺ said, وَبُيُوتُهُنَّ خَيْرٌ لَهُنَّ, and to pray at home for women is better. Then we're talking about what's permissible and what's better. What's permissible is they can attend the masjid if they're going with the safe company or the masjid is nearby and their husbands do not mind, and okay, they leave their houses with the proper hijab and so on. And I would like to comment on the issue of the proper hijab, because it is very unfortunate to see some sisters from some countries that are very known. They come to perform Umrah and accidentally you lay your eyes on them wearing the full makeup, lipstick, and they're all colorful and full perfumed and everything, and short sleeves, or even with the abaya long sleeves, but normally it rolls down to uncover their flesh and their arms and so on, to the extent that the officials in Mecca have to send SMS to every mobile phone and say, sisters, please remember that you are in the haram. You remember you're coming to perform Umrah, you're coming to offer Taraweeh and Tahajjud, and these are all nawafil, supererogatory acts of worship. While covering up for a woman is a fard, is mandatory. Making sure that a woman, whenever she leaves home, she is wearing a proper hijab, loose clothes, and she's not wearing any see-through or any makeup or perfume is a must. And the Prophet ﷺ cursed a woman who wears perfume and she goes out and people passing by say, everybody finds this fragrance, a woman is cursed by that. So we have to be very careful with that. So if the woman fulfills the previous conditions, she may go to the masjid. Now if she wants to pray at home, afterward, she may. And my recommendation for every person who would like to pray after the congregational tahajjud or taraweeh is attend with the imam the full prayer. If he's praying 8 plus the witr 3, that is 11, or praying 21, or praying more or less, attend with the imam. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ said, من صلى مع إمامه حتى ينصرف كتب له قيام ليلة. I feel sorry for many brothers, and particularly brothers, who attend in the haram. They attend with the imam 8 rak'ahs, then that's it. They go. Qiyam for them is done. It's over. They won't pray any tahajjud or anything. So they missed the honor of praying that many rak'ahs with the imam, because each rak'ah and each prayer is 100,000 times better than praying anywhere else, that if you pray it in the haram, in Mecca. They missed enjoying listening to the recitation, spending time in the haram, and of course receiving the reward that is delivered in this package. If you attend with the imam from beginning to end, you'll be rewarded for qiyamul layli kullih, as if you've been standing up in prayer all night long. And this practice have been practiced by the Sahaba, by the rightly guided Khulafa, by Umar ibn Khattab and his successors. They prayed 21 rak'ahs and more. So do not limit yourself to one thing and feel that you have a better understanding than others and miss this magnificent reward. Yes, sister, you may, after attending with the imam and he prays the witr, you pray an extra rak'ah, so your prayer will be even. That if you're planning to pray at home afterward, then you pray as much prayer as you want, and you end up by praying an odd rak'ah, which is a witr. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Zubayr from UAE. Zubayr.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah, barakallahu feek.
I have 4 questions.
Naam.
Number 1, I have a credit card. As the bank is giving me some points on when I do purchase on this credit card, I am getting points on it.
Naam.
After that, I can redeem those points and they give me some cash back on that. I want to know, is it halal? Though I don't pay any interest to the bank, as I used to pay all the amount in time. I have never paid any interest till now, and I don't have any intention to do that.
Zubayr.
Is this allowed that I accept this?
Zubayr, I would like to ask you a question. You're calling from UAE.
Yes, sir.
And there are Islamic banks and conventional banks as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where you are utilizing your ATM card or credit card and deposit your money, is it in an Islamic bank or in a conventional bank?
Conventional bank.
Conventional bank? Why?
Because Islamic credit card, they don't pay, they don't give such facilities which I have on this credit card.
They don't give what?
There are not much options on this.
Akhi, with these limited options, you have no choice. When you have the halal and the haram, you should choose the halal. Depositing your money in a conventional bank, even if you say, I don't take the interest, you don't know what happens to your money. Your money will be lent to somebody else with interest. Your money, some bar business owner can go and say, I would like to open the biggest nightclub in the country and I would like for you guys to fund me. Okay, do you have history? Where are you based at? Yeah, I have a big nightclub in Las Vegas. Cool, okay, we'll give you credit. So Zubayr's money, earned lawfully, is funding a nightclub or a gambling place. Why? Because it's a conventional bank. They don't have haram and halal. They have law, legal and illegal. Man-made law, I mean. So haram and halal is not even in the picture. Where the money will be used in, utilized, given to whom, funding what, is not a question. They don't even inquire about that. So ya akhi, when you have the choice, deposit your money and open an account in an Islamic bank. You tell me that they say they're Islamic, they're not Islamic. You deal with the Islamic transactions. And you be aware of the business transactions and the contract that you sign on. If you do anything besides saving, of course. But now I would like to correct this by taking my money from the conventional account and put it in an account which they have a Sharia committee and they say this is halal and lawful and we do not fund but lawful businesses and we do not charge interest nor pay interest on the money that you deposited there. Okay? Barakallah feek ya Zubayr. Ashfaq from the KSA. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, Sheikh?
Alhamdulillah, shukla. Barakallah feek.
Jazakumullah for the beautiful programs the Huda TV is conducting during the night. It's very informative. May Allah reward you and increase your knowledge, inshallah.
Ameen. Barakallah feekum. May Allah accept from all of us.
Sheikh, I have two questions.
Now.
Number one is, can a woman do a tawaf individually without the mahram? For example, if husband and wife is coming for an umrah, they perform an umrah, they go back to their room, and the wife wants to do an tawaf without the mahram.
Yes, she may. It is permissible. And in this condition, I normally advise the sisters, don't do tawaf in the first floor. Don't do tawaf in the first floor, because you get squeezed. Unless if you have your husband or your, a muscular man with you to protect you. To protect you not because the people around are evil, but because sometimes with the waves of human beings, it's an ocean of human beings. You cannot control the pushes, okay, and the pressure. So it's indeliberate, but you can avoid it. Go to the second floor, go to the roof, and go in the track, for instance, and avoid that. So if she's doing this voluntary tawaf particularly, make an extra effort and do tawaf on the roof. Okay, there is plenty of room and you would not have any problem. Yalla, Ashfaq.
Okay. Second question, while doing sa'i, we see a lot of women who cannot walk, they will just take the help of a wheelchair, which is being pulled by non-mahram. Is this allowed?
It is allowed, no problem.
Okay.
Akhi, you are not just in a busy place, in the busiest place on earth. So if the driver is not mahram, you're not alone. She's not by herself. Okay? There are literally hundreds of thousands of people.
Okay. Jazakumullah khair.
Wa jazakum. Barakallah feek. It pleases my heart to hear this kind of questions where people are very particular, especially when it comes to their masturas. When one of the Sahaba said, if I ever hear somebody is giving salam to my wife, I would chop off his head. So the Sahaba complained to the Prophet ﷺ and said, are you amazed at his jealousy? By Allah, I'm more jealous than him, and Allah is more jealous than all of us. When it comes to your mastura, to your wife, to your daughter, to your sister, to your mother, you have to be extra careful and protective. That is the meaning of to be qawwam, to be protective. Superiority is not because of the gender, he is male or she is a female. Rather, it's because of the role that the person would play in protecting the other, of course. Do you remember this guy, the young man who came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, and by the way, that will answer a question, which was a pending question from Nadia from Egypt. A young man came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, Ya Rasulullah, i'dhan li fi zina. He said, allow me to have a relationship with my girlfriend or commit adultery and fornication. I'm willing to pray, I'm willing to fast, I'm willing to do everything you say, whatever you say. Only one thing I cannot quit. I love to hang around with women and sleep with them. He said it openly. Not a metaphor. He did not hide. He said it openly. The leaf is zina. And he named it as is. Fornication. Of course, the attendees of the companions were about to beat this guy. Some wanted to throw him out of the masjid. Some wanted to kill him. And the Prophet ﷺ, the most merciful of all the living creatures, asked him to draw near to him. And he discussed with him logically. He said, أَتَرْضَاهُ لِأُمِّكَ. He said, you want to have a fornication with a woman who's not your wife? He said, I can't stop myself. He said, would you agree to that your mother would do adultery? Would you agree your sister to your sister's adultery? Or would you agree to your wife having an affair with a man? And your daughter? Every time the Prophet ﷺ say, do you accept it to your wife, to your sister, to your mother, to your aunt? He says, no, 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 no. So the Prophet ﷺ said, and similarly, people would never accept it for their mothers, their wives, their sisters, their aunts, their daughters. And any woman whom you hang around with, she's somebody's daughter or sister or mother or aunt, وهكذا. Then the Prophet ﷺ asked him to draw near, and he made dua for him. He placed his palm on his heart and he said, Allahumma ghfir dhanbah, wahfadh farjah, wa tahhir qalbah. Oh Allah, forgive him his sins and protect his private, protect him against adultery and purify his heart. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sharif from United Arab Emirates. Assalamu alaikum. Sharif. Okay. One more time.
How are you, brother?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I heard you went for Umrah.
Alhamdulillah wa shukrullah. May Allah accept. May Allah the Almighty accept.
Can you hear me, Sheikh?
Yeah, I hear you, mashallah. Very well.
Sheikh, I just have two questions. One regarding zakat. The first one is zakat question. I have a friend who was in need of some cash. I gave him some money just to help his personal life. His condition is not that really comfortable at the moment, and I don't see him returning the money back to me, and I don't even have a niyyah to ask him back. I'll leave it to Allah whenever he is able to help give it back. It's fine. If not, I leave it to Allah. Now, do I have zakat to pay on this money that I've given to him? It's a little big amount.
First of all, Jazakallahu khairan, and I would like to deliver the glad tidings to you that for the ease you're giving to your friend, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promises to give you ease on the hardship day, on the day of judgment. He said, I'm more worthy to give you ease than you when you give ease to your friend. So this is a good news for you. As far as the question part, which is whether this money, the loan that you give, and it's not expected to be collected any soon because he is in hardship, there is no zakah on it unless if one day after, Allah knows when, how many years, he will decide to pay, or if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses him with some wealth and he decides to pay, then you pay the zakah for one single year, even if it is after 10 years. Okay? Second question, Sharif.
On the 1st of August, and I was fasting with some other brothers and sisters on the flight. And during the flight to UAE, we did not experience the darkness, the night. However, we just spotted a little bit of dark far away on the right-hand side of the plane. And we got together, three of us, and we decided to fast at that particular moment, break the fast at that particular moment. When we broke the fast, we had approximately half an hour to start another fast. Was this permissible, this act that we did on the plane?
Yeah. Number one, is this your last question, Sharif?
Yes, Jazakallah. This is my last question.
Now you can hang up, inshallah, and listen to the answer.
Thank you so much. Jazakallah khair.
Wa jazakum barakallah fikum. Number one, keep in mind that a traveler has a concession happily not to fast, to break his fast and enjoy eating and drinking, because travel is a difficulty. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. Allah intends to give you ease, doesn't want to make things hard and difficult for yourselves. Sick people and travelers are allowed not to fast. Now you are in the plane, and sometimes you move from one horizon to another. Once it is night, once the sun sets, and it gets not necessarily dark, that the sun sets, and the captain can assist you best in this regard, you're allowed to break your fast. In the area that you're flying at, because we didn't hear the question from the beginning, we just heard that what happened on the plane, and there was only half hour between imsak, between iftar, breaking your fast, then fajr. Okay, it may happen, it happens in some countries. Okay, so if you'd like to fast, you're also allowed. The hukm with regards to fasting if you're traveling, it is permissible as long as it will not hurt you nor deteriorate your health. If you can afford it, then it is better to fast in order to observe fasting during the honorable time of Ramadan. Meanwhile, you have the freedom not to fast because you're a traveler, and that would not diminish your word or reduce your ajr a bit, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who gave you that permission or concession. Adam from Morocco, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Sheikh. Ramadan Mubarak.
Barakallahu fika ya Adam.
Yes, Sheikh, I have two questions, one on behalf of my wife and one from me.
Now.
Yeah, the first one is about her period, and you may not understand the question unless I give you the background to it. Now, she had a miscarriage about 3 months ago, and the bleeding didn't stop until her normal period came. So a normal period is usually 6 days. So when she got the miscarriage, the bleeding didn't stop until the period came, and she also bled again for the 6 days. And then thereafter...
When she had the miscarriage, how old was the fetus, Adam?
9 weeks.
Huh?
9 weeks.
9 weeks. Okay. Then we're talking about most likely the baby has been formed, right?
When the babies dropped, because it was a pregnancy of twins. So we saw the two. We saw the traces of eyes and stuff like that.
Unfortunately, I cannot hear you. If you can raise your voice just a little bit, speak a little slowly.
The pregnancy was of a twin.
Oh, twins.
Yeah, twins.
May Allah give you better than what you lost. Ameen.
Amen. Thank you, Sheikh.
So perhaps 4 at a time.
So when the fetuses dropped, the two dropped, we saw eyes and some shapes in them.
Not necessarily eyes, but
yeah,
the initial figure, like arms. Could you see arms?
No, we did. It came big, and we couldn't just look at all of that because we're not.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. Of course, you're not in the mood to think about that. I'll explain that, inshallah. Okay. So, what is the question pertaining the menses?
So the bleeding continued for 30 days. When she saw her the normal period, which normally lasts for 6 days, it didn't stop. Then we had to stop it with medication.
Mm-hmm. And it stopped?
Thereafter, it stopped. Then the following month, when the period came again, for the usual 6 days, it bled like that, normally for the 6 days, and then it stopped. Then thereafter, she began to spot. She was spotting on and off for 1 day. Sometimes there won't be anything until after 2 days. Then she will see a trace of blood again and stuff like that. And she did that for another 10 days.
Okay.
So
طيب,
the
Adam.
problem is that when she was after the normal 6 days and it stopped, and then it appeared again after 2 days, I told her to take the normal dose and then continue her fasting. No, she's now worried that does she have the fasting for the 10 days after the 6 usual days?
طيب. Okay. Inshallah Azza wa Jal, Adam, I'll answer you, but your question most likely will be answered after the break. Assalamu alaikum. Brother Nufar from United Arab Emirates. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Shaykh, I have one question.
Now.
Can we pray in our own language in sujood after saying Subhana Rabbiyal A'la and before taslim also?
Can you pray what in sujood?
In our own language after saying Subhana Rabbiyal A'la.
Okay, after saying Subhana Rabbiyal A'la in sujood, what is the question exactly? What do you want to do?
Can we pray for us?
You pray for yourself?
Yes.
Of course, you should. There is a hadith in this regard. Praying, making dua, or invocation, supplicating to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in sujood is the best time and the best position. Because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whenever the servant is in sujood, he is the closest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he mentioned it clearly. He said, فَأَكْثِرُوا مِنَ الدُّعَاءِ فِيهِ. So increase making dua or make as much dua as you can while you are in sujood. Of course, after fulfilling the wajib, which is at least saying Subhana Rabbiyal A'la once. It is better to be 3 times. Okay. Barakallah feek Nufal. Let's take a short break and inshallah we'll resume in a few minutes, so stay tuned.
Can't do that because you do not know what to say to them sometimes. At least you raise up your hand and ask Allah, oh Allah, please give guidance to this brother of mine, the importance of following Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. To follow our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam means you must understand his sunnah. Adinu Yusrun, Islam is a very easy religion, simple religion. So don't make religion difficult to yourself. I believe this hadith is very common to all of us. But the beauty part of this hadith, number one, it started by Umar al-Khattab saying, Sami'tu. Now again, I'd like to share with the brother and sister to understand the beauty of this saying of the companion.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome, dear viewers from around the world, to our exciting program titled Good Answer. I'm your host Malik, and I'm joined by the Imam of America, the founder of Guide Us TV. He needs no further introduction. I think you know who I'm talking about, Sheikh Yusuf Estes. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh Yusuf.
Assalamu alaikum, Malik. My name is Ayman, and I think a lot of people would like to know, a lot of non-Muslims would like to know who Prophet Muhammad was.
We worship the God that he worshipped. And we worship that God the way he worshipped. So we consider Islam to be a way or a deen.
Right.
Anywhere. But that had never been before. He said this is a gift, never came before, that me and my followers, we can make our salah, our connection, anywhere.
Hey, Sheikh, you're on the hot seat. I like my seat over here. I'm feeling comfortable. Because he asked you a tough question. He asked you a good question. Can you give him a good answer?
Islam my deen, Allah my Lord, His word Quran.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. Brother Adam from Morocco, and his question was pertaining his wife who had a miscarriage and she had twins. We all pray for her. May Allah give her patience and give her a better replacement, better than what she lost. As the Prophet ﷺ taught us to say, upon having such an affliction, to say, Allahumma ajurni fi musibati wa akhlif li khayran minha. The bleeding that happens after the miscarriage, if the miscarriage took place after several weeks, I cannot determine the number of weeks. If it is less than the 3 stages, which is 4 months for innocence, but if it is less than the 4 months, meanwhile the fetus have some figures like arms, legs, head, you could see the ears and the fingers, then right away this bleeding after the miscarriage will be treated as nifas. What is the difference between nifas and it's just bleeding? There is a big difference. Al-hayd wa nifas. Al-hayd means the menses, the monthly period, and al-nifas is the postpartum bleeding. Prevent the Muslim woman from the following activities: from praying, from fasting, and from having an intimate relation with her spouse. But any irregular bleeding due to medications, due to heavy duty work, due to stress, it's called istihada or irregular bleeding. That does not stop the woman from doing any of the above, from praying, from fasting, from having the relationship with her spouse, because this is mere istihada. The haid and nifas is what prevent the woman from that. If you don't know whether the period whether the nifas have stopped or not, we look at the following days. If they happen during the days which coincide the regular period before the pregnancy, or when she had a regular period, then that will be treated as period or menses as well. he will continue to stop the woman from doing so. Whether she delivered normally and there was bleeding afterward, some people are under the impression that a nifas or the postpartum bleeding is 40 days. This is actually the maximum, not the minimum, which means if a woman after the miscarriage, when she had a baby, where we could realize his figure or her figure, or after the delivery, and the bleeding stopped after 2 days or 3 days or 1 week, then the woman should start resuming the prayer after taking the ghusl. And if she's capable to fast, most likely she won't be able to, but if she wants to, she may. If she wants to do tawaf, she may, because the bleeding have stopped before the period which many people assume that it's got to be 40 days. Like some people assume after the miscarriage or after the delivery that the wife does not pray for 40 days. This is not true. Does not pray as long as there is bleeding due to the delivery or the miscarriage. And if the bleeding goes beyond 40 days, the woman should treat it as an irregular bleeding, unless if it coincides the same time of her regular period. I hope this is understood. And whatever I say pertaining the prayer, the salah, applies to fasting as well. Now, taking medications to stop that bleeding, whether it is the monthly period or the postpartum bleeding, is permissible if it does not cause any adverse effects. You heard me repeatedly saying, consult your gynecologist, consult your doctor. If they advise you to do so, fine. If not, then leave it up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is something that you did not choose. I know that you want to fast during Ramadan, you want to do the tawaf if you're in Umrah or in Hajj, and perform the manasik and go home with your family. But if it is not something that you can control, then you're not blameworthy, as the Prophet ﷺ said to Aisha radiyallahu anha. Assalamu alaikum, Yahya from Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum. Shireen from United Arab Emirates.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, I have two questions. First is regarding the fast kept in the month of Shawwal. Do we have to keep it compulsory on the first 6 days, or is it any 6 days in the whole month?
Any 6 days, and they don't have to be consecutive. You can scatter them from the second day of Shawwal, because the first day fasting is haram, that is the Eid day, all the way to the last day of Shawwal. Since we got used to fasting during Ramadan, it becomes a lot easier to fast the 6 days in a row while we're still hot and we are used to fasting. Because I've known many people, when they slow down and say, tomorrow I still have a few days, I still have 1 week left, they miss this opportunity. They slow down, they rest. But it is definitely permissible to scatter it throughout the entire month of Shawwal. Okay, Shireen?
Yeah, and my second question was, I missed a few days of my fasting this month because of my menses. So do I have to first finish my Ramzan fasting immediately after from the second day of Shawwal, and afterwards continue the Shawwal fasting, or?
Nah. Many scholars, such as the dear respected Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen, may Allah have mercy on him, and others, are of the view that the hadith says, whoever observes fasting during Ramadan, then succeeds that or follows that by fasting 6 days during Shawwal. So they say, the text is very clear, it says, fasted Ramadan, completed the course of Ramadan. So they suggest that you should begin by making up the missed days, then fast the 6 days of Shawwal. Sometimes it's a bit hard and difficult, especially for a woman. I don't know, you may have mentioned 9 days or so. When I asked the sister to make 9 days or 10 days or 12 days, then follow that by fasting for 6 days, it might be difficult for her. So relying on another hadith in which Aisha radiallahu anha, may Allah be pleased with her, said that she used to postpone making up the missed days of the month of Ramadan, due to the menses of course, until the following Sha'ban, right before Ramadan. So she would have 11 months to make up those missed days, which means she did not mind postponing them. And I believe she wouldn't miss the opportunity of fasting the 6 days of Shawwal, since she was the Prophet's wife, and she knows exactly what the Prophet ﷺ said in this regard, in addition to fasting, voluntary fasting, and so on. So the priority is, if you're capable enough to make up the missed days and then fast the 6 days, that is the most ideal situation. Okay? This is what we call it a win-win game. But if you can't, and the period is too long, then if you begin by fasting the 6 days and fast afterward, or make up the missed days during the remaining months or until before the next Ramadan, that will be accepted insha'Allah Azza wa Jal as well. But I want to keep in mind that I have missed fard. I want to make sure that I should try to make it up as soon as possible, lest I die before I fulfill it. Because this is an amana, qada. I have to do it. But the second choice is permissible as well, sister, if you think you cannot afford the first one. Barakallahu feeki, Sister Shireen. I had in front of me وَاتْلُ عَلَيْهِمْ نَبَأَ الَّذِي آتَيْنَاهُ آيَاتِنَا فَانْسَلَخَ مِنْهَا, to explain the meaning and the parable for brother, I believe, Muhammad from the KSA, our young viewer. But unfortunately we ran out of time, so hopefully inshaAllah, first thing I will start with tomorrow will be answering question Muhammad. That is the only pending question. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Do not forget, tonight is a beautiful and a blessed night. Make sure to do an extra ibadah and include us in your dua. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest.